in year one was just over $6,000 to actually deploy the solution, and then their total cost over 5 years was $9,000 just on the hardware and software. Vitally, what this does not include is a cost analysis of any of the labor associated with running the solution, which might have been the same again. So doing a true cost analysis of the TCO for this tape-based backup solution, just the hard costs came to $9,000 over a 5-year period, but adding in all the soft costs and the labor component, there's a very significant cost layering on top of this that has got to be factored in. But just to keep the example very simple, we've only gone to the very we've only documented the very hard costs here. But looking at online backup, you've got a year one cost of only $1,000, so 16% of the first year cost of the tape backup solution. It's far less capital intensive for the customer, and then a total five-year cost of $5,000. So this is just at $1,000 a year for 5 years. No upfront costs, are far more capital efficient for the small business, far more affordable, and a far better and superior quality of service. We'll actually talk about the differences in technology in just a couple of slides' time, but the tape backup solution is far, far more expensive, and it's also an inferior backup technology. Then I think the thing that's actually most important in this example to everybody on the line is the margin. So when we look at typical margins associated with selling, say, a HP or IBM tape-based backup solution, you're looking at just a few points of margins, 6-7 percentage points is not uncommon. So on this tape-based solution, the reseller margin, or the margin to everybody here on the line, would only have been $500, and that's once off. So it's a once-off margin that's made on the sale of the capital equipment. With online backup, in the first year, margin is roughly the same, so roughly half of $1,000, $500. But crucially, there's then revenue for the reseller in this scenario every year for 5 years. So if you look at the reseller revenue on that over that 5-year period, it's $2,500 instead of just that once-off $500 fee. Now, there are lots of other services that can also be sold around online backup, so there's all sorts of other potential revenues. But again, just looking at the basic hard cost components here, online backups, a sixth of the cost for the SMB to get into. It's the same margin for you, the reseller, and then but the margin and the revenue is recurring. And that's a crucial difference between old school backup technologies, mainly like tape and disk, and the new online backup SaaS offerings that SOS, among others, are offering. And then looking at, the other part to the analysis when it comes to the problems with tape backup is really the problems with the tape backup technology. So deploying tape and disk-based backup solutions has always been very time-intensive for IT staff. With online backup, it's just simple SaaS software delivery on all the computers that need to be protected. Tape backup solutions have very rarely supported laptops or branch offices. Generally, they fall down when data is distributed. The more distributed the data is that needs to be protected, the more likely it was to sit outside of these central backup regimes. With online backup, you've got nearly 100% coverage because every single device is on the network, so it's under the backup cloud and can be protected. In terms of media with tape backup, it was always error-prone and subject to failure. In fact, IBM estimates that more than 50% of tapes that are in archives, that upon recovery, there'll be errors with recovery. There is no media with online backup. It's just all over the wire. Tape backup recovery is extremely slow and difficult, can often be a multi-day project to bring back an environment that's crashed when you're recovering from tape. With online backup, you've got instant access to data. In fact, you can actually delegate recovery, so all of the individual workers and users and staff can do their own recoveries. They don't even need to escalate to central IT or outside to you, the technology consultant. They can actually recover that data straight from their laptop or their PC or even their iPhone or BlackBerry. Tape backup's got fundamental security problems. Data's not protected, data's not encrypted or versioned. Tapes can be stolen, tapes can be lost. With online backup, you've got government levels of security. Security very, akin to online banking, effectively. So we'll talk more about SS security in a little bit, but in general, it's a fundamentally far more secure medium for people to be protecting their data with. Access, we've already touched on this. With online backup, all of your data is instantly available to users, whoever that is. It could be you, the IT consultant, it could be the IT department at the company being backed up, or it could be the individual user. Often when SOS gets deployed, every user of the system is given their own account, so they can manage their own backup and manage their own recovery, and that saves costs for everybody. And then this last point, the economic perspective on these different technologies, for you as a partner on traditional hardware-based backup solutions, single-digit margins, which is on once-off revenue. Expensive to run, expensive to support. So it's not a particularly rich revenue source for you, it's not a particularly large profit center for you, and then it's a significant cost to your company to maintain and run. With online backup, you've got no setup costs, you've got extremely rich margin, up to 60% and more, and then it's a recurring revenue stream. So we've seen online backup become one of the core offerings that MSPs are offering to their customers, and we've got hundreds of MSP partners who are selling a fully white-labeled online backup solution powered by our technology. And this is really what we're all about, this last comment here. What we aim to do is to convert backup from both being a customer pain point, so a pain point among your customers, and also being a pain point for you in your business as a cost center. We want to convert that into both a revenue source and a profit source for you in your business. So let's just looking a little bit at some of the industry statistics. The overall market size for online backup is, we view it, and most of our competitors view it, as being the entire backup and DR industry, which is a $10 billion annual industry. We often get asked if, by prospective partners, if they've, quote, missed the boat, unquote. You know, what's the size of the opportunity still ahead of people in the online backup industry? And the answer is no, we're still at relatively early stages of the adoption of online backup in the market. The online backup market's only sitting at about $1 billion annually, so roughly 90% of the opportunity still hasn't been tapped. And this is a great time for you to be getting into the online backup market to take advantage of that. And then we're seeing rampant growth in the industry. Both the adoption of online backup has accelerated greatly in the last few years and continues to accelerate. We're expecting to achieve 70 to 80% market penetration, or grow to a $7 to $8 billion industry in the next 5 years. And that's being driven by just the enormous growth in digital content that's occurring across all three spaces, the consumer, small business, and enterprise markets. Other growth drivers is generally there's a cloud computing and SaaS megatrend that's driving a lot of business applications to the cloud, and that's fueled, of course, by the cost savings and superior performance generally of cloud offerings. But then also, particularly to online backup, you've got a proliferation of distributed data that's also driving a lot of people to cloud backup. What I mean by that is data sitting on edge nodes, data sitting on mobile devices and workstations and BlackBerries and laptops and iPads, rather than all data sitting in the data center, in the server room, where it may have throughout the 90s. So let's turn now to look at SOS's technology itself and some of the key elements of our actual product. And then from there, we'll go on to look at the partner program and the various elements of the partner program. We've always been about more than just backup. So, and we pioneered, frankly, I think, the approach to online backup as being not just a new way to back up your data, but fundamentally a new way to interact with your data. So we've always had these three pillars to our product of protect, access, and share. We're going to protect your data, we're going to move it to our cloud, we're going to allow you to access that data in new and more productive and more exciting ways instantly, so from your Android device, from your BlackBerry, from your iPhone. We're going to enable you to share that data with you, whether that's sharing photos with friends or sharing business data with colleagues. And then turning to our features, I don't want to dwell too long on the actual technology features unless members of the audience would like to and have specific questions. We haven't had any questions yet, so I'd encourage anybody to ask questions and to facilitate a two-way dialogue. But just looking at some of the key features which are most important to the partners we bring on, their customers, we do some things pretty uniquely at SOS. First and foremost, our backup software, it's both online backup and local backup. So built into your solution, and everything here can be branded. So imagine everything you're seeing on the screen rebranded to your brand and your logo. The software comes with fully integrated local backup. So all of your clients can continue to do both local backups, but then also do offsite backups. Unlimited computers, so there are no license fees that have to be charged per seat, whereas all the other online backup vendors usually charge per PC. With SOS, and therefore with your online backup solution, we just look at how much space your customers need, and then they can deploy it to 100 devices or 1,000 devices. We don't care. Importantly, though, you as the reseller, you can actually charge for those seats. So you're free to build your own billing and subscription model that we'll work with you to do, which would enable you to then actually charge license fees. There's a built-in CDP module, so you can do continuous protection of data, can monitor files, and the second those files are changed, it'll back them up to the cloud. Again, nobody else has got this technology, nor the local backup. Both of these are very differential in the market. We've got our mobile access platform, which allows you to access all of your data directly from mobile devices, most popularly iPhones and iPads, again, which can be rebranded to your business. So that imagine that all of your clients are daily using so just picking on another attendee, Jerry Whitfield. So every one of Jerry Whitfield's clients can have on their iPhone the Jerry Whitfield online backup application that allows those customers to then interact with their data continuously and share it, and that then builds brand awareness for Jerry and his business because he's got pride of placement on that customer's iPhone, on their iPad, on their laptops. The security we generally get some questions about, but from a security standpoint, we can set up the system so that both that with our ultra-safe system so that SOS cannot access the data, and that means that if the customer loses their private encryption key, then the data is completely unrecoverable, and that's important for higher-end enterprise customers or for customers with regulatory burdens, such as medical businesses who are subject to HIPAA, or financial services businesses that might be subject to Sarbanes-Oxley requirements. And then just calling out a couple of other features, the software has got both an unlimited archiving system built into it, so it doubles as an archiving solution for your customers, as well as unlimited versioning. So we can actually keep an unlimited version tree. So if a file changes 100 times, we're going to keep 100 versions of that file. We have some people who've got 7 years worth of file versions stored in our system. And importantly, SOS just eats the cost of providing that to you. So you, the partner, you don't have to worry about the cost of that, and your clients don't have to worry about the cost of that. SOS just provides all of that built into the software. So let's turn now and look at the actual SOS partnership model and what we can do for you in your business. Again, just highlighting at a high level what we do, take everything we've learned about our SOS's technology, and I know it was an understandably brief discussion, but we can dive in more detail in the Q&A. Then repackage all of that technology and all of those services with your logo and your branding and your go-to-market approach to then build your own customized and tailored online backup solution for your customers. So why partner with SOS? What makes us different? Well, firstly, I'd say we're probably the only ones who really focus on this particular part of the market. So we're considered absolutely the leader of the online backup reseller market. We've got more than 1,000 partners who are selling white-labeled and customized online backup solutions built on our technology. And where we really differentiate ourselves is pretty much everybody in the online backups game has got to have some infrastructure and a product. But what we focus on then doing is providing our partners with all of the other elements you need to be successful in the online backup business. Because frankly, it's not just about having